fuzz, our baby daughter was like a delicious peach, only much heavier. Even though I fed her on a diet of breast milk and nothing else, she grew fatter and fatter. She was dense with good health. The story of how I nursed my daughter has a catch-22 ending. The child was thriving on this milky, unending flow of a food designed perfectly for her. When she was 10 months old, I began to feel like we might weigh about the same amount. I would haul her onto my lap, and she would gaze up at me with delight, and in the parlance of the day, latch on. I would gaze back at her, amazed that I could so easily satisfy another creature. She was intent and happy as she suckled away. The only problem with the baby was that when I held her in my lap for these marathon feedings, she was crushing something crucial inside me. Maybe my spleen, or possibly something larger. I tried lying on my side to nurse her, but she required so much food, provided in such lengthy sessions, that this wasn't really tenable. The milk was making her so, healthy, that it was getting harder and harder to actually deliver the milk to her. That's the catch-22 part. Cast your mind back to the late 1990s for just a moment. Nursing, at least where we lived in Seattle, was a strange combination of enthusiast's hobby and moral mandate. Drive 30 miles to the north, where my husband's cousins lived in suburbia, and you'd find mothers happily plugging a bottle of formula into their babies' squalling mouths. In Seattle, only full-time working mothers gave their babies bottles, or rather their nannies did, and those bottles were filled with the mother's very own milk, expressed through a breast pump. Weaning wasn't allowed until at least 1 year. This was by the consensus of who, exactly? Us. We were mothers with books. We looked things up. We knew stuff like, for example, that the American Academy of Pediatrics said that at least 1 year of nursing was optimal for the baby's immune system and brain development. For the kind of mothers we were, optimal meant mandatory, and 1 year meant a few. Seattle at that time was a town where little dudes strolled up to their moms at the playground for a quick top-off, said, "Thanks, babe," and rejoined the soccer match. Lucy wasn't yet 10 months, and I wasn't supposed to quit nursing until at least a year. If you think this sounds like a frivolous dilemma, or not worth losing sleep over, then that just goes to show you were not a new mother in a liberal enclave at the end of the last century. While I debated whether or not to wean her, and Bruce, my husband, feigned interest, the inevitable occurred. My back went out. The middle of my back pinched me all the time, like a salacious old man. I couldn't sit in a straight chair. I couldn't lie flat on the couch. I couldn't lift the groceries. So I weaned her. Now that I've been doing yoga for 10 years, I'm tempted to say something wise, such as, I was ready to wean, and my body made the decision for me. But back then I didn't believe in that kind of crap. Instead, I paddled around in a complicated gumbo of guilt and relief. I claimed to feel cheated of my full, God-given, federally mandated year of nursing. I apologized to my husband for my subpar performance. I told my friends, "Oh no, I can't nurse the baby." Inside, I secretly exulted. I had my spleen to myself again. We lived in Phinney Ridge, a North Seattle neighborhood filled with educated, white, liberal, well-intentioned people, which pretty much describes all North Seattle neighborhoods. Phinney Ridge is notable for being even more liberal and even better intentioned than most. In Phinney Ridge, people don't have "beware of dog" signs. They have "please be mindful of dog" signs. When I complained about my back, which I did often and with gusto, the people of Phinney Ridge all had the same answer: do yoga. My doctor said, there are poses that will strengthen your back. The checker at Ken's Market told me I could buy a good yoga video at a nearby New Age bookstore. The homeless guy selling the Homeless Guy newspaper outside Ken's Market said, be sure to get a mat. It's really hard to do yoga without a mat. I had a number of preconceptions about yoga. I thought yoga was done by self-indulgent, middle-aged ladies with a lot of time on their hands, or by skinny, fanatical 22